Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexa Renee. Hello, hi, and welcome. So today's video is kind of a new thing. I'm sorry, I feel like I keep doing new things on this channel, but you know, it's my channel, so I'm just gonna do whatever I want. It's called The Finding of Me. This new segment, I guess, is just gonna be life stories that I've had, things I've gone through, things that I've done, and how they've shaped me into the person that I am today. And obviously, you know, I don't think people ever truly find themselves because we're always changing no matter how old we are. And you know, that's kind of where I am. I'm in a very detrimental state of who I am right now because I'm a teenager and I'm influenced by a lot of things. I'm about to go to college, I'm about to join the adult world, and obviously that's a difficult process for anybody to go through. And you know, I'm 17 and I'm trying to navigate my way through life and I have no idea what I'm doing. And I've talked about that openly and my fear of having no idea what I'm doing constantly and still having no idea what I want to do. And the second that I think I know, I don't. And this is just, you know, I feel like it's more of like a sisterly thing or like a friend thing. You know, we're gonna gab, we're gonna talk. Because I feel like sometimes on the internet and sometimes just in everyday lives, it's hard for people to put the more vulnerable sides of themselves out there and to admit that, hey, you know what? I have made so many mistakes throughout my life. I have done so many bad things, but I've done amazing things, and this is the person that I am today. And it's difficult to just say, this is who I am, because I'm not always the same person with everybody. You know, I remember we watched a video in school and it was like, this is me like at home and this is me at school and there are different versions of me. And that's true for everybody. And it's hard because sometimes the lines blur and you're like, who am I really? So I guess as much as this is for you, it is for me. It's a self-reflection, self-journey. And so today I wanted to talk about the title of this video, the beauty of being forgotten. So, a lot of you might not know this. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it, but I do theater. I love entertainment and I love to entertain, and I seek validation from that in a sense of, you know, my self-worth comes from how much I can make someone laugh or cry or feel something, which is, again, something that I'm working to fix because, again, self-worth should come from yourself and not the emotions of others, but it's tough. I won't lie. I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm on this amazing journey and I've had so much success because I haven't. You know, I've never really been in a relationship, and that's where a lot of people seek validation from. I won't even let myself get close to being in a relationship. And I'm young, and I feel like sometimes, you know, since I am so young, I'm missing out on some life experiences because of my youth, and maybe when I get older, these things will seem like silly little problems, but I'm not at that stage in my life yet. Also, my hair's really growing out. I have a little part going. I think it's really cute. So let's get into it. The beauty of being forgotten. Like I stated, I'm a theater kid. I seek validation from others and I love attention, but that stems from somewhere. You know, the people that we are stems from things we've gone through. I have bullet points that I want to go, oh, the reflection of light. I have bullet points that I want to go over that, you know, go over what being forgotten feels like. Not forgotten in the sense of people don't remember me, but forgotten in the sense of that these are people who are in my life and I'm not their first priority, or I'm not the first person that they think of when they think best friend or talented or this or that. And I know it seems like a selfish mindset to think to be upset because you're not the first thought in someone's head. But I don't think I've ever been that. Ooh, sorry. That kind of got serious. And it's terrifying to think, you know, I might not mean so much to somebody as they mean to me. You know, sometimes I feel like I do love a lot more than the love that is given to me. I feel like I reach out a lot more and I kind of make more of an effort in a sense of a lot of my relationships. And it's difficult, but sometimes that's how life is. As much as I hate to say it and as depressing as it sounds, sometimes life is you putting forth all of the effort and kind of receiving nothing in return, but less than in return. The first thing I want to talk about in this little thing, I vicariously live through others It is a terrible habit, and I am trying to fix it. I can't stress enough how much I'm trying to fix these problems that I talk about. So I used to have this best friend. I'm not gonna say her name, and we're not friends anymore. But she started to date somebody, and I just remember I used to buy them like gifts on their anniversary. Like I was in the relationship, and I remember all three of us used to hang out. And you know, she won't see this, but if she does, she'll know what I'm talking about. And I just remember, I think I wanted it so badly. I wanted to be in a relationship. I was a lot younger. I really shouldn't have been worrying about that. I shouldn't be worrying about it now, but I am. It's a teen thing. And I would go out of my way to do stuff for them. Like I was in the relationship and I would insert myself, and I know it was annoying, and if it was me, if someone was doing that to me, oh my god, I'd be pissed. But like that's just who I was. That's who I am. I just insert myself, and, you know, major FOMO right here. I don't know why I'm feeling so, like, preachy tonight. That's probably why I want to do this video. And I didn't only live through others in relationships, romantic relationships. It was platonic relationships. It was every sense of the word. It was relationships that they had with their parents that I didn't have with my parents. So, you know, for this girl, she was my best friend. Her home life wasn't amazing, but it was better than mine. And so I would go over there, and I wanted to be her. And I later found out it's because I'm bi, you know, so I was jealous of her, not only in the sense because I liked her, but because I wanted to be her. Her parents bought her stuff, and they didn't guilt trip her about it. Her parents were still together. She had a brother, and she got to do fun stuff. And I'm not saying I didn't, but it was just a life that I didn't have. And I'm so grateful that she was in my life, and I will forever be grateful that she was my friend for the time period in which she was. And I still wish we were friends, but sometimes things don't work out that way, and that's okay. Again, it was just me constantly living through those around me. And so from that, I want to talk about something a bit embarrassing that I really never thought I would admit on the internet. But here we are, and if you know me in real life, just know I'm ashamed, and I think it's so embarrassing, but I feel like I kind of went through a lot of embarrassing phases in my life, and that's where I am. So again, living through others, I used to read fan fiction, and not only fan fiction, but books. So, you know, it was a form of escapism for me. It was a form of me being in another world, essentially, but there I was wanted. And so, you know, quirky girls. Again, I hate to admit it, but I did read, YN, insert reader fan fiction with people that were in movies. I never read it about like actual people. Like I have standards. I had standards then. I have standards now. And yeah, so for me, it was the sense of being wanted. It wasn't real, but in my mind, reading it kind of made it real to me. Even though these people are characters and they don't exist. I think it was what I needed at the time because, sometimes there's like that saying, you have a friend for a reason, a season, and a lifetime, but I think that fits everything. Sometimes you find things that are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and for me, that was the season. I needed that validation, and no matter that it was fake, I needed to know that somebody loved me even though it wasn't real. And it sounds insane. I'm sure that it probably sounds really dumb, but it makes sense to me, so I'm gonna keep it in. Yeah, and then again, it wasn't just fan fiction, it was like novels. I read so many YA novels. Like I was obsessed with Divergent, The Hunger Games, The Fault in Our Stars, the full shebang. And I briefly talked about that. For me, it was like these people are role models and I want to be them. And then it comes this unhealthy obsession of changing myself to fit the people that I wanted to be. It wasn't only because, in fan fiction, the author will write you the way that they want you to be to tell the story. Even if it is YN, you're somebody else they just use your name, but you're this other person. And I would get a lot of character traits from what I had read or what I had watched, and that was normal to me. So now when I'm trying to find myself, it's hard to distinct what I picked up along the way and what is really me. And again, personality and the whole having personality and character, it's a very debatable topic because we do find inspiration from others, but for me, it wasn't inspiration, it was stealing. So it's like, I was listening to this podcast and this girl said it perfectly. She was like, it's like if you're an artist, artists are inspired, but sometimes artists steal, and it's not about stealing, it's about inspiration and who you're painting yourself. And for me, it was blurred lines, and it still kind of is blurred lines. I'm still trying to find myself, like I stated. Again, I think to wrap that section up, fan fiction and novels, like I said, it was a form of escapism. I won't lie, my dad says that I bash my parents on here, it's just because that's how it is from my perspective. I've talked about how I love my parents, and parenting, there's rule books, or there's like handbooks for it, but nobody ever can do it right because everybody does it differently. And, my parents have made questionable decisions and they still do, and that's okay because it's just different. And I didn't grow up with the best life, my parents aren't together. There was a time where I was kind of poor, and I worry constantly about money, and it's just this big thing. And so reading it helped me. So in the sense of tying it back to being forgotten, in these stories, I was wanted. I was, it was fake and it was in my mind and it was with characters, but that was what I needed to know that, hey, you know what, somewhere in the universe, in some alternate universe, in some weird world where I exist in the same place as this character, they want me. It's terrifying and it's an unhealthy obsession, and I don't read that stuff anymore because I hate to read, frankly. Well, no, I love to read, but you know what I'm saying. It's just, I don't have time to do that anymore, but also it feels weird now to do that. So that's the tie with fan fiction. The next point I wanted to go over was friends. So like I said, I did vicariously live through people not only in a romantic way, but in a platonic way, and then when it came to the relationship they had with their families. So with my friends, even now, like I'm still in high school, friends and having friends is a big part of social status. And even though popularity isn't the same as it is in the movies, as in the films, there are the popular group and there are the well-known kids. And I, like I said, have always sought validation from others. And so having friends and being well-known is such a big part of that for me. Yeah. I've found, that the friends that I have in my life, I do have amazing friends, but there have been friends in my life who I was like, wow, like even now I'm like, I really shouldn't be friends with these people. Or back then I was like, I can't believe I was friends with them. They treated me so poorly, but it wasn't about the treatment. It was about feeling like I had somebody when I really didn't. So I think it can be tied into the quantity over quality. I have a bunch of friends that at the end of the day, I can't call when something is wrong, that don't really care about me. They're school friends. They're my friends at school. But when it comes to doing stuff outside of school, they're not there. Or it's the quality of friends, which I feel like I'm kind of at that stage now, finding real quality friends. And sometimes you can have your cake and eat it too. I feel like I have quantity and quality. It is tough because I feel like it's just anybody can relate. You have like your great friends, but sometimes you don't want to call them because you don't want to concern them with your problems or you don't want to bother. And that's something that I'm still trying to understand because it's like, well, if they're my friend, they're going to care. But it's difficult for me to process that because, again, being a burden. So having friends, in a way, justified the fact that I was not forgotten, when really I was, because they didn't really care about me. They cared that I was another number in the list of friends that they had. And then with that, I wanted to tie it into followers. So I actually think I'm going to delete a lot of my social media, or just like the app. I'm not going to delete my account, but for me, being forgotten and validation comes from likes and how many followers I have. So it's like a flex for me that I have 1,000 followers on Instagram, but I've had it for like 4 years. So it's like, okay, girl, like you have met 1,000 people in those 4 years. That's to be expected. There was a point in my life recently too. I won't lie, I'm still kind of going through it where I put everything on how many likes I got on a picture. Even with this YouTube channel, how many views and how many likes I got on it. For me, it's the fear of being forgotten. So not only is being forgotten beautiful because it allows you to find yourself, and I'm finding myself, but it's the fear of, well, if I go away, what are people going to remember of me? Will people even remember me? I'm sure it also feeds into the fact that I would like to be famous one day, but like I stated, that is not easy. But I'm getting off topic. So with the followers and everything, it's difficult because the fear of being forgotten is what drives me to find the beauty in it, which sounds so dumb. Like, I probably sound so stupid, and I think I'm sounding so smart right now, but I'm not. But so social media is kind of bad, in trying to find yourself and validating yourself. It's just this big thing. So, who I am today, like I said, I'm I don't know who I am, really. I know the things that I like, and I know the things that I don't like, and I know who my friends are, and things like that. But when it comes to, like, if you asked me to describe myself and the person that I am, I quite frankly don't think I could do it. And I hate on the spot questions like that, but that's a completely different topic. Despite the struggles that I have endured in my life, I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful that I was forgotten. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think in being forgotten, you're forced to remember yourself. I didn't have a lot of friends in middle school because I moved, and freshman year was tough because I was trying to find my crowd in high school, and even now it's tough because a lot of the people who I called my friends don't like me. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I don't know if it gets easier because I really haven't reached the easier part yet. And not only in the sense of friends, but teachers, especially theater, because my director controls every aspect of my school year, you know, whether I am in a show, whether I'm not. It's just difficult because I'm still at the point where I'm still being forgotten in a sense. It's not to the extreme in which it was before, but it's still prevalent. It's difficult because I'm not trying to call out my friends. I love my friends, but it sometimes feels as though I'm the second choice in every friendship, and that sometimes my friends have excelled past the point of needing me, and I'm sure it's dramatic and it's in my mind, and it's just the fact that I think everybody hates me, but it's just difficult. And high school, like I said, is such a sticky situation. It's terrible in the sense that you have to deal with academics and your big life decisions next, but it's also difficult in the sense of you are forgotten constantly. But I have been really trying to kind of change the mindset that I have on it, and it's not so much of an ugly thing to me anymore as it is a beauty, hence the title. Because, like I said, since I get to spend all of this time with myself because nobody else wants to, it allows me to kind of create myself into a person that I want to be, that I deem interesting, that if I saw them, I'd want to be friends with them. For me, that comes through films, you know, educating myself through films, educating myself through music and TV shows and pop culture and books and YouTube drama and just things that I truly love, that make me who I am, that make me Alexa. And it's weird saying my name. I don't know why I said that. That makes me feel very weird for some reason. I don't like it when people say my name. I find I go on walks now by myself. And I ride my bike by myself. And I just ordered a jump rope, and I'm going to start jump roping. And it's weird because, again, with the quarantine time, it has allowed me to take a step back from the chaos of life and school and doing a million things every day to me finally like, well, what do I like to do? You know, I actually find that I enjoy working out, which is so weird. And I don't look like I do. I probably look like I've gained a lot of weight, which, please don't comment down below anything about my appearance. It's another video about the finding of me. It's beautiful in a sense because although the world is in a tragic state and I'm very upset at the state of America right now, it did allow me to align myself with the person that I want to be. And then with the movements going on, and it's really me discovering what I believe, not only in a political sense, but in the sense of what I believe human rights-wise, which obviously I believe everybody should be equal. I've clearly made my stance on that. And it allowed me to do things with Luke, you know, start a podcast. We have a lot of stuff coming out with that. We're working on a lot of stuff. It's me creating this YouTube channel to begin with. It's beautiful in a sense. So I encourage you, if all of you have never really reached that point of being forgotten, I encourage you to reach it someday, which you probably will, you know, or you probably have. I think it's beautiful and it hurts. I will not lie, it hurts like hell to not feel wanted and to feel as if you're second best, and I still feel that way, and I still feel not wanted all the time in a lot of my relationships, but it allows me to take a step back sometimes if I'm thinking rationally, and I'm like, I'm not the problem. You know, Gabby Hanna, I am the victim. Again, it's with not being the first choice, it allows you to not make yourself to want to be the first choice, but to make you your first choice, you know? Because for a long time I wasn't. And again, that's drawn into the fact that I used to live through others. I would quite literally insert myself into relationships and things because I wanted to be them. I didn't want to be me. I wasn't my number one for a long time. And I don't know if I really am now, but I'm trying to get there. And then it's, again, this whole journey of self-love and learning to love yourself. And am not at that point in my life. You know, years of therapy have still not fixed that, but I'm at a point where I'm trying to love myself, as difficult as it is, you know, even though it's hard for me to look in the mirror sometimes, and it's hard for me to want to even get up and go out and where people will see me. And it was hard when I cut my hair, and it's still hard because now I know it's silly and superficial to be like my hair, but you know, my hair was a big thing for me, and then I cut it all off. I'll make a whole nother video on self-love and my journey through it, and because I'm still going through it, and I don't know if I will ever reach the point in which I believe is valid, in the sense that I do love myself completely and fully. So I think that's gonna wrap up this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I kind of, again, I don't really know what I thought I was doing. I just want to share a message that if you believe you're forgotten, or you are not the first choice, or anything, if you ever have self-doubt, change it into something. Work to change it into something that is beautiful, and work to find yourself beautiful, even though I really shouldn't be speaking on that because I don't find myself very beautiful or, you know, any sense, but really, it's all about outlook. You know, like I said about the artists, don't steal from others, but inspire yourself to be something. And as much as I may not like my appearance, I can find things that I love about myself. I love my music taste. I love that I am so passionate about certain things, you know? And so I learned to love myself through things that I love. Whoa, that was kind of deep. Someone copyright that. Put that on a t-shirt. But yeah, so that is going to be it for today's video. If you made it to this point and you're still watching, I love you, and you are not forgotten in my mind. All of my socials are linked down in the description below. I know I said I'm going to delete them, unsure about that yet. Maybe I'm just going to start posting whatever I want to post, because I do tend to post stuff that I think will get likes and stuff, but I'm like, feed and aesthetic doesn't really matter if I'm not posting what I like. Again, very deep. I feel like I've been very profound this video. Yes, so all of my socials are linked down in the description below. Again, I'm sorry I didn't post a video last week. I kind of got busy because I have a job now. Not going to disclose where that is, but I have been busy with that and obviously everything going on. And I got elected for another officer position, so that was extremely fun, and I'm very proud of that. But yes, life is attacking me every which way, and I'm trying to find time for this because this is what I'm truly passionate about. So I will see you guys next Thursday. Fingers crossed that I stay on the time with the upload schedule. Again, I'm sorry I'm so inconsistent. It's the real YouTuber in me. But I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I want to talk about self-love next, or maybe even, you know, still finding me, and if I come up with more things, and yeah, everything about finding yourself. And I just connect it to me because that's the only experience I only know me. Make sure you like and comment, and you know what, turn on my notifications if you want to know if I post a video on time, and comment down below what you thought about this video or things you want me to talk about in the finding of me, maybe things, your stories or anything. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next week.